I think a lot of people that want to get into it, I think there's such a learning curve because most brokerages, there is limited structure. What you laid out for 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃, I'm even on the commercial or office or industrial side, there's structure there, but it's still a huge learning curve. How to talk to somebody is not something they could learn in a book. They have to literally spend X amount of hours standing with the guy that's in your office, understanding how the flow of that conversation should go, who should be the expert in certain moments and who shouldn't be. And I think that ultimately is a time period that a lot of people don't make it through, to what you're saying.
The learning curve, like, I don't know if it's just like a mental, I looked at it as kind of like a graduate school program almost, for the first year. Cause I'm like, I'm starting a new job, which I really want to be like a business within a business. But it was like, I knew that there was going to be this time where I had to learn a ton and I wasn't going to make much money. So I kind of looked at it, just as like a mental trick. Like, this is just paying your dues. Like, this is just the like graduate school type, like segue into getting into real estate. So it helped me. I don't, but I think that you have to be eyes wide open about the ramp up period, and you have to be just prepared personally and financially to be able to make it through, because there's a lot of attrition just in that stage.
There's such a, I know I was guilty of this, there's a period when you first, whether you first get licensed or first start actually moving deals, where you're more of a gopher for clients than you are the expert. And there's a transformation. And sometimes it doesn't happen to 5-6 years later when you actually start getting burned by things and you start really standing up to your clients saying, listen, man, you can't make that decision because of blank, blank, and blank. And it's that's even longer learning curve to actually truly become the expert in the conversation.
Did you, for a while, I was like embarrassed about, I don't know if it was embarrassed is the right word, but self-conscious about not knowing everything at the beginning. And then, something like clicked where I just, I'm an honest guy. Like I was honest with people, but I felt like I had to talk myself out of answers or around like answers sometimes. And I was just like, I'm sorry. I used it almost like as an advantage. Like, I'm newer to this. What I don't know, I make up for and hustle. And, I'll definitely find out of that answer. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. But like, I think showing the sincerity in the answer and that you're going to work really hard. Like, I knew when I met those people, the first building I sold or, the 10th building I sold or whatever, like I didn't know as much as all my competitors, but I was really confident and I did outwork anybody in the market, period. And that's what I knew I could promise somebody. So I knew I would make more calls, and anything that I didn't know, I'd go to my mentor, I'd go to my manager, and get answered appropriately to make sure that it's handled the right way. But I think when I flipped the switch on that and stopped worrying about not being able to know everything and started just embracing kind of where I was in my career at that point, it was received a lot better by clients.